Those two girls reminded me of my daughter's clarinata. Well, good afternoon, folks. Stephen and Becky here. We're now in our third or fourth day here in Jerusalem. We're just on our way to go grab a quick little bite to eat inside the old city walls. If ever any of you guys have the opportunity to come here, you understand quickly how much time you want to spend inside the old city walls. There's really something majestic and oddly unique about it. Well, guys, as we're walking and kind of enjoying the beautiful weather here, I thought really I'd take a moment just to talk about the conference that we're here for. So the purpose of this conference really is it's a gathering of many different nations, many different people from around the world, and I think that there's close to 500 or 600 people, many of them from the South Pacific Islands, the Polynesian Islands, heaps from China and Asia, and there's a strong delegation of First Nation people. I was the only Inuk a couple nights ago. And the thing about all of these different, I guess, international Aboriginal people coming is that we were all invited by local Jewish leaders here. And so we were all invited to come to Israel to be a part of this conference by local, again, Israeli Christian leaders, Messianic leaders, and from what we're told, this is the first time that Messianic leaders here in Israel have invited different Aboriginal people from other nations. And when you consider that, that's really an important thing to think about. And folks, when you really consider that biblically the people who live here in Israel, the Israelis, really are, God's first people. That they're kind of the first peoples of first peoples. The fact that they've invited many different first peoples from other nations to come here and worship the Lord together and pray and really just rejoice in the fact that we serve a loving God and that God loved us first together. I mean, this conference really cannot be understated in how significant it is. The fact that it is the first conference where Messianic leaders have invited other nations to come and worship together. Last night there were different Polynesian people that honored the Messianic pastors there. On the opening night, I was part of a First Nation delegation that brought gifts to the First Peoples, and as I said before, I was the only Inuk, and I presented an Inukshuk, and they in turn honored myself and many of the other leaders with different prayer shawls and anointing oils, and it was an exchange of gifts, an exchange of culture. So far it's been amazing. I mean, absolutely amazing, life-changing for myself and especially for my wife. But I mean, the part I think where it's been most special is this conference, where again, first peoples of the first peoples, the older brother in many respects, worshiping the Lord together with them. That's really been a highlight for me so far. That's that. We're off to our evening conference. We heard something last night. One of the speakers said that initially this conference was supposed to be held here in Jerusalem, and through a series of events it had to be moved to a different settlement, different community. That different community is a place called Abu Ghosh. It's only about half an hour drive away from here. Very hilly, mountainous range. Like when you consider Jesus walking from Jericho to Jerusalem, it's only about a half hour drive, but it is up and down mountains the whole way. And so really it's a difficult place to get to. But Abu Ghosh is this very unique place in that it was said to have housed it stored the Ark of the Covenant in the Old Testament of the Bible for a period of about 20 years. And that period of about 20 years is very kind of significant because it was King David who brought the Ark of the Covenant, which represented God himself, the presence of God, here to Jerusalem after that 20-year period.